Hello, and welcome to the EVMJ Japan podcast, probably the best way to learn about life with electric cars without actually being here. I'm your host, James, and today I am joined by Ben from EVMJ Visuals. Hello, Ben.
Hey, James. How you doing? Thanks for having me
Very
on.
good, thank you. Good. So, yeah, Ben is a master photographer, videographer, legend all round, and I invited him...
Can we ever be a master of anything?
You are. And I invited him on this podcast because I got a new trailer for the channel going live soon. And Ben was the mastermind behind it. So this is a kind of like behind the scenes of the trailer. So yeah, look forward to that. So for the first part, we're going to talk a little bit about Ben. Let's get to know Ben a little bit. So Ben, could you first of all just tell us a little bit about your background in photography and stuff? Like, obviously, you're in Japan, right?
Right.
You're living in Japan right now. In case that wasn't
so,
obvious.
yeah, I mean, I'm originally from Texas in the U.S., and I've been in Japan almost 20 years at this point. And I did go to film school. I went to film school in California, where I studied filmmaking. And after graduating, I worked freelance for a few years as like a grip electric, doing lighting for kind of independent films, music videos. Moved out to Japan, taught English for a bunch of years while kind of doing photography on the side as kind of a hobby. And then I think in the past 5 or 6 years, I started taking it a bit more seriously, with the past a year ago, basically going completely full-time freelance. Or now I'm a full-time freelance photographer and videographer out here. And so I do both. I do photo and video. If you look at my Instagram page, it's mainly photos, that I'm trying to upload more of my video work. And yeah, that's kind of basically a little introduction about my photo stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to share your Instagram and YouTube channel in the description below, and you guys should definitely check it out. If you're listening to the audio version, you'll probably just have to look at these later. But for the video version, for the YouTube version, we're looking at Ben's Instagram right now. So this just gives you a little idea about the kind of photography that Ben does.
Yeah, I do a lot of fitness for the fitness community out here, and some of the pageant community, like, you know, beauty pageants. So I mainly do portraits. That's my main style of work, is portraits, promotional stuff for people's social media, small client work for businesses. But a lot of it, or at least a lot of what I share on Instagram, is the fitness related photography and kind of beauty pageant related photography, portraiture stuff. Obviously, I do a lot of other work that's just probably not too interesting, so I don't actually put it up. You know, just like corporate things, little, you know, stuff like that. And I do have a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is where I just teach kind of like photo retouching and kind of photography basics. So I talk a little bit about shooting in a photo studio, and I do a lot of tutorials on just how I retouch and edit my photos.
Yeah, that is really useful, actually, if you are interested in, you know, doing photography and, you know, touching up photos and stuff. Really, really cool channel. You should definitely check it out. Again, I'll put links in the description and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's awesome that you can do this. That's like almost like a dream job. It's like you're in Japan, but you're not doing the typical English teacher thing. You're actually doing the photography and the videos, and that's your full-time job. Must be a little bit scary, but a little bit awesome.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I think I can honestly say that I don't have any regrets about leaving. But obviously, you know, I no longer have like a stable income. Jobs you can go 2 weeks without having any work, and then all of a sudden you're working like 4 days in a row. So yeah, the income is very unstable, where sometimes 1 month you make a ton of money, and the next month you barely make money to feed yourself, right? I don't know. I wouldn't say it's scary. I would just say that this is the life I chose for myself, so I just have to make it work. Like, I don't have any regrets. I don't feel like, oh, maybe I jumped in too early, or maybe I should have stayed at my job longer. No, I don't have that regret at all. I just basically think, like, this is the life I have now, so got to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully one day I can make that jump from like doing this YouTube channel as like a side project to, you know, doing it as my main thing. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, that would be great.
One day maybe. So what would you say is like, I don't know, you could choose like photo or video, but like, what would you say would be your crowning achievement, or something that you're most personally proud of? Like, it couldn't be something that got you the most money or anything. Just like, what were you personally like really proud of it. Like, wow, that was awesome, and I did it. That's my best
Mm,
work, whatever you
right.
want to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. It's interesting you brought that up because, like, yeah, I think the thing that I got paid the most on is something that no one sees because it's like
Right.
it's boring for everybody else who's not involved in that project. But like,
Right.
that's what I got the most the most paid on.
Mhm.
And usually the stuff that I either do my own personal projects, like kind of what we did, so I would
Mhm.
consider like a personal project.
Right.
Those are things I kind of enjoy the most because that's when I have total freedom. So,
Right.
as far as some of the things that I would say I'm really proud of that I often look back on is so a few years back, for a few years actually, I used to shoot a lot of these fitness competitions here in
Mm.
Japan.
Yeah,
And,
I've seen a few of those videos. Yeah.
they always, it was for the social media, for their Instagram account, and I think YouTube, they want a little 1 minute just promos of each event that happened. And so I was on there on stage with the competitors, like running around the gimbal and the camera, getting cool angles. And then I could just come home and edit it to some really cool, like high energy music and kind of do my own style. And I was always really proud of how those came out. And they all really enjoyed kind of my style as far as the editing and the music and the transitions and the framing and cropping, composition, things like that. Um, and as far as photography, that's really hard because a lot of times I'll get to a point where I think, oh, this is like my favorite photo I've taken. But then, I think it's good is that that always changes. That kind of that accomplishment is always moving forward because at this time this was my favorite photo, but then 6 months later I have a brand new favorite photo, and then a year later I have another favorite photo. So it's always
Right.
kind of going up. But
Mm.
yeah, I would say a lot of the work that I did for these fitness competitions, which I do have a few of them on my Instagram,
Right.
I think they came out really good and kind of really show the energy and the excitement of the competitions.
Yeah, I love
And
how just like how clear and just like how colorful they are. I mean, I know you do some retouching as well, but just like the setup, like what they wear and everything, and
mm,
the way you shoot it is like it's really really amazing with the lighting and everything.
yeah, I
Obviously,
definitely,
a lot of time goes into lighting, I guess, right?
yeah, I think definitely I do enjoy lighting and I do enjoy using colors as much as I can. Like that's when I kind of started when I started transitioning more into studio work. I kind of preferred doing that because a lot of photographers, or especially portrait photographers, always call themselves like, no, I'm a natural light photographer, which means they just take stuff outside, which is cool. But
Yeah.
sometimes it can be interpreted as they're afraid to use lights because it's a whole different ball game. Like when you're outside in the sun,
Mm.
you just basically find a good shot and make it look good. But when you're in a studio, you have to place every single light. You have to know what kind of modifier to use, how close, how far, how big, etc. And that can be kind of intimidating for some people, especially when you start using colors, to try to really spruce things up and changing the background. And so I like working with color. I like having things pop more, and I just like taking pictures of people and making people just look their best. Like I think one of my favorite things about doing this kind of photography, whether it be like shooting like with fitness competitors or even just normal people or pageant type stuff, I always really love it when I can take a picture of somebody, do a portrait of somebody, and they just really are kind
Mm.
of seeing themselves in that way for the first time. Where they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is me. This looks so cool. Oh, I love this. I love this." Like, I love showing people like how they can look amazing given the right kind of lighting and camera angles and just like for a photographer. I don't know. And
Well,
so I always really like that.
you did your best with me. There, we're gonna see that later in the video, but there are some kind of cool lighting effects that you did with me. But it wasn't a model shoot,
No,
right?
but I think what I so I think
Yeah.
I guess we could probably talk about. I don't know if you were going to mention it, how we even got involved in this kind of project, or did you have something about that you wanted to
Oh, we're
go
gonna
into?
talk about the whole trailer
Okay,
breakdown
awesome, awesome.
in the next part. Yeah, before the ultimate reveal, the premiere
Right.
of the
Well, I
trailer.
don't. Yeah, so I didn't know if you wanted to
Yeah.
mention is how we even started it.
Let's do it then. Let's move on to part two then. The
Okay.
making of the EVMN Japan trailer. So the inception, right? I think that's where
Right.
Ben was
Yeah.
going with the
Yeah.
inception for the trailer was Ben had said, "Hey, I got some cool lenses.
I can't actually.
Maybe I could do something."
I can't remember if you had mentioned like, "Hey, I'd like to do a channel trailer," or if I
Yeah.
had.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been in the back of my mind, like having when people first go to my channel, it'd be cool to have a trailer on there. I mean, it's always something that's recommended, right? Like when you have a YouTube channel, it's a good idea to have a trailer. But I didn't really think about doing something so cool and stylish as what you were suggesting. You were saying you wanted to do something where you could just be completely use your own creativity, do whatever you want. You're not restricted by a corporate thing or like a client thing. Just like
exactly
do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had, because we didn't really, I would say that we didn't really have too many like ideas. I was like, just some cool shots of the car, cool shots of you driving the car and drive through the city. And of course, I have ideas in my mind, which, given our kind of constraints, not all the things are possible. Like obviously, we had like a car mount. We could mount the camera on the hood, and you could drive through the city. Or we had a follow car. Like we couldn't. We tried to do some of it with what we had available. I think it came out okay, but yeah, definitely there's things where it's like, oh, I wish we had like a car mount. We could mount the camera on a hood and we could drive around the city, or we had like a van that we could shoot at the back of, so we get like a really cool low angle shot that we're speeding through Tokyo.
Right. At one point, somebody was going to be standing on top of a car, but I think actually now it just came back to me now. I think the original thing was just you taking pictures of me with my car.
That's right.
And possibly with a model, draped over my car. And then that kind of evolved into, no, let's make it a video, So I think that's how it started.
Right. You are right. I remember you mentioning like how a lot of people do photo shoots on top of like parking complexes, like the parking structures, like on the very top floor. And so I remember you saying, a lot of people do photography up there. I think it'd be really cool to just have a cool like night shoot of like me by the car, and like maybe have like a model or something just hanging out looking cool. I think it kind of evolved. Well, I want to make a video. That'd be even fun. Maybe more fun. Make a video, make it look really cool.
Yeah, I mean, in Tokyo, there's just so many cool like tall buildings with lights, and that's ultimately where we ended up going. We ended up going to 2 places. Shinjuku. Part 1 of the shoot was in Shinjuku, and then part 2 was in Yokohama. So yeah, we'll break it down. Like we'll break down the shoot step by step. I actually do have some kind of behind the scenes videos that I took of you while we were doing the shoot. So yeah, the first shoot was in well, if there are any Tesla owners watching, it was near the Tesla supercharger in Shinjuku.
Yeah, the Tochomai, like the government, the government building.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And there was what they call a Tesla rally, which is where basically about 200 Teslas kind of meet in one car park, and then we all drive through the city to a goal all together at the same time. And the goal was there. That was actually where we ended up. So
it wasn't a race, y'all. It wasn't like go and then like everybody's speeding through like Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift Tesla edition.
Well, some people may have taken it like that. But yeah, it's here. So this is kind of like the area where we ended up shooting, right?
Yeah, like, a lot around there, because it's I think we did it on the weekend, and because it's the metropolitan like government building, the weekends are pretty dead, and so the streets are really just open, and the streets are really wide. It's like a 4-lane road, and yeah, it's just if you go there on a Saturday and a Sunday, everything's really closed. So the streets are just really wide open, very little traffic. So it was great to kind of drive up and down and get some cool shots.
Right. Yeah. And this building here, the was that Shinjuku NS building. So I think we're kind of looping around here for some part of it, right? We're kind of going around here several times, and kind of the last shot of the trailer of me kind of driving away, and then the camera panning up actually was on this road in Shinjuku. So if you don't know, the Shinjuku supercharger is underground. It's in a underground car park. What is that part of? I'm not really sure what car park that is.
Yeah, because it seems like right across the street from the government building. So maybe it's a park. I mean, I think there was a office building on top of it, so probably just for the offices or whatever.
The Tesla showroom is very nearby. That's on like the ground floor, and this is kind of like below that. So this part we were thinking about, like, well, the Tesla superchargers themselves kind of light up red, don't they? And my channel, obviously has, red and black as, part of its theme. And I always try to wear black or red, in my videos as well. So, that fit, perfectly well. But it is dark down there, right? And
Yeah, I mean, it is a parking garage, so it is
right.
dark. I did bring a few like small lights, like little tube, like LED lights. I can change the different colors that way. I kind of use supplement a little bit, kind of give it a little more flair. But I mean, for the most part, the camera was able to capture a lot of it, and yeah, but I think it kind of adds to the mood, this kind of dark kind of vibe.
Absolutely. I say, I have a video of you setting up your gimbal. You may have, some people listening might not have known what you were talking about when you
Oh,
said gimbal.
oh
But
yeah,
yeah, this is the gimbal. Yeah.
right. Oh yeah, get a good shot so you can kind of see like how you can kind of create smooth shots
Mm.
without kind of like the handheld shakiness.
Right. So yeah, gimbal is kind of like a stabilizer, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I
Another way
mean,
of
it's
saying it. Yeah.
stabilized. Yeah, I think gimbal usually because there's two types. There's something they call like a steady cam or well, not a steady cam, is a whole different thing. But a stabilizer kind of just keeps things stable. Or a gimbal, it's motorized. There's motors on every axis, and that's the motors are what is kind of keeping the camera like facing the right direction.
Mhm.
But yeah, gimbals are a pretty popular a film piece of gear that people use a lot these days.
It's it's a very difficult thing to set up. I was watching you do it, and there seems to be so many like elements to it to get it to
Yeah, I mean,
work. It's kind of incredible.
I mean, you do your best to kind of initially balance the camera so that it kind of, so the weight is perfectly balanced. Because I
Mhm.
think if it's not balanced, the motors just have to work a lot harder to keep things stable. But if you can balance it really well, the motors, sorry, the internal motors don't have to work too hard. And then
Right.
after that, it's just basically I can plug in the camera to it. So the handle that I'm holding has my record button, and I can do like the focus all without having to actually touch the physical camera. It's all just wired into like the gimbal. It has but
Mm.
controls on it, so I can do it through there.
And that thing is powered, right? Like it has a battery.
Right. It's got
Yeah.
little batteries that you can charge up.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're watching the YouTube version right now, this is the parking garage that we used.
And it was
And
summer. I remember it was hot down there.
yeah,
I
it was
remember it
hot.
was so hot down there.
It was hot. And I think another Tesla actually just drove past as I was taking the video. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it
I think
wasn't.
I think he was charging in one of the
Yeah.
things. I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. So we took I forgot how many shots we took down there, but like me kind of going towards the car, I think, right? Mhm.
I always come across this problem when I'm doing a lot of video shoots, depending on how complex it is when it's something kind of very abstract or free, like how we did. I don't usually
Yeah.
storyboard anything in my head. I'm just like, let's just get a bunch of really cool shots, and then I'll
Yeah.
kind of piece something together in the edit. Now, like
Fix
sometimes
it
when
in
I'm
post.
editing, yeah, exactly. But when I'm editing, I'm like, oh, I should have got this shot, or I should have had this. If I had this shot, I could perfectly cut to this shot.
Mhm.
So sometimes I do wish, or I do need to like just kind of have a bit more of an outline in my head, so I know that okay, I definitely want to have these shots. But the times that I've done that, I always just go off anyway. So, but I think for our project, we shot a lot of stuff down there, and a lot of the
We
footage
did.
is not a lot of it is used actually in the
Right.
final video, because there was a few different cuts where I sent you and you're like, oh, can we, maybe it's better without this, let's change that. Or we had some other ideas. I just, once you start editing, you can't find a way, because there's a lot of really cool shots that I wanted to use, but it's like, well, I can't fit it in. It doesn't fit anywhere good in the video, and I don't want to force it in because it kind
Right.
of throws everything off. So there
Yeah.
was definitely some cool shots of you like wearing the EV Man T-shirt, or like doing a cool pose, or having the lights come on and do stuff. But yeah, they didn't even like. I think they didn't make it in the video just because I couldn't find a good place for
Yeah.
it to fit in the kind of story, not
Right.
storyline, but the
Yeah.
whole thing, the flow.
Yeah, and I've got to say, well, I mean, we're going to premiere the trailer at the end of this this podcast, but like, you made me look way cooler than I actually am. Like, it looks like, I don't know, a new episode of Knight Rider or something like that. Like, like I don't know, maybe I'm like a hitman about to take people out. It's like that's
Yeah,
not
I
the
don't
really,
even what it
that's
is.
not
It's
who
just
I am.
like, yeah, it's just like cool guy and like
Yeah,
driving a cool car.
he was a man with a Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, we maybe we should do a second version with some narration like that. It's exactly like
Right.
that, One man,
Yeah,
one Tesla.
exactly.
It's gonna change
So
everything.
right. So Yeah, oh, so the only kind of downside to that parking lot, which I totally didn't plan for, was that parking lot is not free.
Mm.
Like anyone who's driven in Japan or like, parked in Tokyo knows. Like, I don't know how long we were down there. We were shooting for like maybe an hour and a half, like not
Yeah, I
that
think
long.
wasn't there like a time limit or something where it's like if we
Yeah,
had left like I was like, oh, if we had just left 10 minutes earlier, it would have cost
right.
way cheaper or something.
Yeah, it's anyway. It ended up costing like over 1,000 yen just for that like time in the car park, which is crazy. I
Yeah,
think
but I guess it's like
maybe
about eight,
yeah,
seven. Now it's like $7 US with the exchange rate, I
yeah.
think. But still, I guess that's. I mean, I don't drive
That's
out
cool.
here in Japan, so I don't even know what's cheap or expensive for parking. But
Yeah, Tokyo is expensive. You can't get around that. But yeah, that was a fun shoot, and we got like like you said, a ton of shots. So and then arranged the second day, totally several weeks later, right?
yeah,
And so this one was in Yokohama with a friend of the show and a guy who's actually been on this podcast, a guy called Randy. And I think I told him about this trailer idea, and we're kind of like brainstorming, like where can we kind of drive really fast and like get
mm,
some shots where the car is like actually driving, and maybe even take it from another Tesla. And that Randy actually, he volunteered his time and his car and his drone. So that was totally awesome of Randy to do that. So he lives out in Yokohama, and he suggested this place near the river. I guess it's the river, right? Not the sea.
yeah. I think it
Well,
was like I feel like we were kind of port somewhere. I just remember it had a very like kind of like port like transportation and like those big
yeah,
containers around kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. Well,
Which
Yokohama is the
you don't even really see it in the video too much. But
you don't really see the river or the sea that much at all.
yeah,
Um, oh, there's Randy. Yeah, that's Randy. So yeah, there's Randy with his drone. So yeah, Randy ended up taking some shots like above the car, like me driving like under the car, under the drone as I drive away. But
yeah,
unfortunately, Randy ran into some technical issues after we'd finished shooting. When he went to check the footage, like everything was corrupted
mm,
and all the data was lost. So yeah, none of the drone shots ended up being used
yeah.
for the trailer. Yes,
It happens sometimes.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, Ben was there as well, and Ben took some cool shots. So this was really interesting, wasn't it? So like, oh, I do have a shot of river. I keep calling it river, but whatever this is, the dock,
Water. Yeah.
the the water. So yeah, this is the road, and it was, I guess, near like a factory or like a warehouse or something like that. You can see a
Yeah,
lot of
something.
trucks
Yeah, because you
coming
can
in.
see, yeah, you can see a lot of those kind of trucks and yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
and
they just like yeah, there you go. You can see that. Yeah, there you can see all the cranes they're using to offload containers from
mhm.
ships and stuff. So yeah, I don't know what you call this.
Yeah, the dockland. I don't
Right.
know. But so the good thing was like we could shoot on this road. The bad news is at the end of the road, we had to stop because that was the entrance to a warehouse or factory or
Mm.
something like that, and the security guard would not let us go in. So it was really awkward. Like, I don't know. This is only something for the video podcast here, but at the end of this road, like you can see how narrow this road is. So basically, every shot we did, we had to do a U-turn in this tiny thin road to get back and do another run. So yeah, that was a little bit annoying. Yeah, I mean the security guy, he let us do it once. He was like, "Oh yeah, you can do the U-turn," and then when I came back for a second
He just
go,
assumes you went like down the wrong way, like like. But he's like, wait a minute, why are you making the
yeah,
same mistake twice, three times? No, that's not happening. You're doing something you're not supposed to be.
right. Why did you race 100 miles an hour down this road and stop again twice in a row?
And it's funny, after we did that shoot, like I would walk into the city sometimes and I would find some big stretch of road like right in the middle of the city with like 4 or 6 lanes and like no one's on it. Like, oh, this has been perfect, like we could have just like gone up and down this road a bunch of times, like and it's like got that city vibe. But you know, so now I try to keep track of like locations. Whenever I see a really cool location, I'll take the photo with an app I have that shows me all the details and the maps and stuff. And that
Oh,
way I just
okay.
have a whole folder of like great locations for like film shoots or projects and stuff. But
Yeah, that's a good plan. Yeah,
maybe if you ever
because
do like like a 2 point, like a redo, like, you know, new or a director's cut with new footage, you know, 20 seconds of new footage.
so yeah, this is Randy's car. He has a red Model Y Performance, which is like, you know, the fastest version of the Tesla Model Y. So yeah, so what the plan was to get some drone shots, and also, so you were planning on like actually being in Randy's car and
Mhm.
like hanging out the window or something like that, right? How did you end
Yeah,
up doing it? Were you out the
I
window?
think, I mean, so there's only one, I mean, we did like a few shots. There's only one shot, I think, in the final video where, like, you know, I think the idea would be, and it's kind of, the windows are small, it's a smaller car, but the idea would be like maybe me
Mm,
in the back seat, kind of not leaning out the window, but kind of having the camera sticking out the window facing back as
mhm.
you drive up alongside us. And
Right.
so he would try to keep pace with you, so we get a kind of cool, like typical driving shot. Like, you know, as you're driving, the camera's like right, kind of like in front and off to the left of you or the right of you.
Right.
And but it was just kind of hard to, you know, that street was quite narrow, so it was kind of
Mm,
hard for both cars to kind of, like, ideally you would like to, you would like to have been one lane over. So like on
mhm.
a 3-lane road, he'd be in the one far lane, there'd be a lane between us, and you'd be in the other lane, and that gives us
Right.
more room. And then we have a nice straightaway to really get some stuff. But it was pretty tight. It was kind of cramped trying to get in that back Tesla window, like to get the gimbal out of the
Right.
camera and get it at a good angle. And then like I can't really see the monitors so well, so trying to get if I can get it in focus or not. And so, you know, these are things that, like, you know, next time if I were to do it, find someone with a big van. It's like I could just open the door and open up shit up the side or something.
Yeah, because yeah, as you can see, the gimbal is quite big, and actually, yeah, that's one kind of like kind of minus point about the Tesla is like the back windows don't go all the way down.
That's right. I
Like,
think I remember. Yeah.
yeah,
I think I ended up being in the front seat, trying to be in the front and doing it.
yeah, the front ones do go all the way down, but yeah, for whatever reason, the back ones don't.
And I like it. You seen the video. He made this little custom license plate hider
Yes.
that's for the back of your car. And I know you've mentioned this before where you're like, I mean, I understand the same thing. People always make a fuss to like hide their license plate, but it's like, so what if someone sees your license plate? Like, what, it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Dox you or something? Yeah,
Yeah. But like, so he had that kind of cool. It does look cool. It's like a white
yeah.
kind of, you know,
He's thinking like
thing.
a real movie production. It's like, you know,
Right.
hide
Maybe you
the.
could put some like cool, like a silver barcode on it, like the Back to the Future like license plates and Back to the Future 2 when they had like when they're in the future, all the licenses with like silver barcodes. That would
Right.
look kind of cool.
Or when speed cameras take a picture of it, you know, it comes out as white, and so you can't
Right.
get done by the police.
Yeah, it's all it's like reflective, that special
Right.
reflective material.
So yeah, I actually do have a little bit of footage for the chase scene, I guess is when you want to
Oh,
call
did
it,
we?
a bit of behind the scene. So this is the road basically.
Hmm.
Um, so I think you're actually in the back seat at this point, maybe filming me from the back seat.
Maybe,
So
I don't
yeah.
know, because I think I was always in Randy's car the whole time.
Oh, really? Okay, maybe.
This is probably where you're trying to make a 3 point turn or something.
Yes. So up to around about this point, we had to stop because the guard is like up ahead, and you
Mm.
know he was getting a little bit kind of pissed off by the end of it. Like, why do you keep driving down this road and doing a U-turn? Yeah, so you can see how narrow it is and how hard it is because it's not like a flat road. There's like a little gutter there, so you can seriously damage your tires if you kind of drop down into that gutter. So you had to
And I
be
think
very
it was
careful.
Randy who had, because you had, so I can't remember exactly why we chose this location, because it wasn't like, I don't know the area at all, but I think it was like a
Same. Yeah.
Randy's like, oh, I know this really great long road that's along the
Mhm.
dock, so we can just drive up and down.
Right. But unfortunately, it had changed. So like that gate wasn't there.
Yeah, that's
Like
right.
things
Something
had
had
changed. Yeah.
changed. Yeah, and we had to kind of move stuff around. Because I guess when he mentioned, I kind of envisioned being able to, like, to see the water and not have this big like seawall like that's kind of like blocks
Right.
everything.
Yeah. So yeah, Randy was telling me like back in the day, you could do kind of Fast and the Furious style things like racing around the docklands, and there were no gates, and there's no seawall or nothing blocking you. You could just kind of do night races and stuff, but that's all not really possible anymore.
I think wasn't he saying back in the day, like 20 years ago, back in the day?
Yeah, like a long time ago, maybe 30 years.
Because he's been there. He's been in Japan for a long time. I remember.
Yeah, he's been here for a while. Yeah, you guys, if you haven't listened to it, you should go back and listen to Randy's episode about his car. So yeah, I think maybe it's time to watch the full trailer. I think it's ready for the premiere. Ooh.
Yeah, I think that track, I think, is a killer track. That's a really sick track that I found.
It's so good, man. It's so good. Hopefully when people watch that, they immediately subscribe to my channel, and then immediately disappointed when it's nothing like that. It's like, where's that cool guy? Where's he gone? So yeah, we talk about that kind of light bar. I think maybe you briefly mentioned it. That light bar that you have, that was why my face was kind of lit up. Like
right, I had like I have a little like LED tube light. It's probably about a foot long, and then like in the car, especially in the garage, because I think a lot of people like, I think when lighting in film is done really well, most people don't realize that lighting is being done. Like when you're watching a movie and they're walking around outside, a lot of people just assume that they just took the camera outside and are shooting it. And for sometimes that's the case, but a lot of times, there's a lot of things going on. They have reflectors, they have other flags that are blocking some of the light. They might have their own lights outside to kind of put light on actors' faces. And so when you're watching a movie and they're inside of a car, if you ever try to shoot inside of the car, it just gets dark because you're just covered completely. And especially when you're in a underground parking lot, it's just going to be like completely dark in the car. And so I took this little foot long like LED light and kind of stuck it in the dash, or maybe I got it on the dash or somewhere. And I kind of switched it to like a blue color, and that gives that kind of blue glow. But I think when you're watching it, it fits the surroundings of the parking garage, so you don't probably even realize that it's there. It just feels like it's just part of the garage.
It matched it very well.
Not like cause I remember even when you were driving, there's like the lights like right in your face, like shooting you like in the eyes. You're trying to like.
It was also like
distracting.
Is it magnetic? Like it?
Yeah, it's got magnets built in, and so that's actually there was a part of your car that
it was magnetic. Yeah,
there was metal because it would like stick to it, and so
it would stick really well. Yeah. That's a pro tip for anyone who wants to know that the front dash in front of the steering wheel is magnetic on the Tesla.
Yeah, because I think you didn't even know that, and I was like, "Hey,
no, I was like, whoa, how's it sticking so well?"
Metal here.
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool, and also has like a police mode and make it look
right.
like you're being chased by the police.
Yeah, we probably could have done something with that too, just like flash the lights. And even after I was thinking about it, like there's other things we could have done. Maybe for fun we can get around to doing it one day, where we can shoot kind of as if you are driving, because some of these lights have like strobe effects that can kind of like strobe from left to right. And so a lot of people will fake interior of a car by just having the car sitting in a parking, like, someone's driveway, make it all at night, have the light off outside the window, kind of like a light strobing from left to right. and then it kind of looks like the lights, like, you know, going by. And you kind of put a little shake in the car. You have someone just kind of bounce the car a bit, and
Right.
it looks like they're driving at night, you know.
So that music, do you remember the artist name?
Yeah,
We'll
so
put
he's a
we'll put
guy.
links. Yeah.
So yeah, I found him off of Bandcamp, which is I guess it's kind of like a SoundCloud, but it's a website for artists that where they can
Mhm.
basically kind of promote their own music, and they receive a bigger cut than as if they were selling music via Apple. Because sometimes I listen to a lot of independent music, especially kind of electronic, synthwave kind of music, and I'll find artists where the track is available on iTunes, but it's also available on Bandcamp. And I'll usually buy it through Bandcamp because I know in that case, I think the artist receives 80% of the money,
Right.
where I think in Apple, I think they receive like 12 or 15%, where Apple
Oof.
takes like
Wow.
80% of it or something. But I think I remember looking on, I had bought it a while back because the songs that he makes are copyright or royalty free, copyright free. They're made to be used for people's videos. You can monetize them. I think you just have to
Thanks very
like
much.
link very much in it.
Yeah.
But you know, when I was looking, usually when I'm doing other projects, I'll look for music tracks that I can use. And even if I'm doing a like a corporate project, I might come across a really cool track, and I'm like, oh, this track is really awesome. I want to go ahead and buy it because I could probably use it in some future project. And so I think I had bought that track probably a year or two ago,
Yeah,
and
it's a really good song.
I just held on to it looking for something to use it, and it just worked out really perfect. And I like the advantage because it's a smaller artist. The advantage of it is when I had downloaded it off of Bandcamp, there was a small like glitch, like a rendering error in the song, like a little like beep.
Mhm.
And at first I couldn't tell if it was actually kind of part of the song because it was kind of on a beat, but it was like a little like beep. It's like a little beep. And so I emailed them. I said, hey, so I bought this song, great track, but at 1 minute and 20 seconds mark, there's this beep. Is this part of the song or is it like a rendering issue? And he immediately got back to me, and he was like, "Oh man, that's I never noticed it before. It's like a rendering issue." He went ahead and re-rendered the song and sent me an updated like WAV file of like the new track without that little glitch in it. And I guess he updated on the socials and stuff too. But yeah, so I think
Fantastic.
Mocha, Mokka, I think, kind of independent artist,
Yeah.
and he just does a lot of. I think all of his music is royalty free, copyright free. And I think on Bandcamp you can buy them pretty cheap, maybe like $1, $2, kind of like a name your own
Yeah.
price kind of thing. Or they have like, pay $80 and get all 500 of his songs or something like that. And he
Yeah.
covers all genres, like a lot of like every genre you can think of, he has it. So summer beach time, vacation, travel vlog, like corporate, whatever, sci-fi, future, gaming, fight, every kind of genre you could imagine. He's got it. So it's a really great source for like royalty free music.
Yeah, and very good for YouTubers,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Oh yeah, there
So
he is.
yeah.
Yeah. He's got a YouTube channel. I think you can even just use all of these songs for free. I'm happy. I think even when I bought it, I can't remember when I bought it off of Bandcamp. Bandcamp sometimes has an option to just name your own price, and you can basically name $0 if you want. But I'm happy to kind of support smaller artists. So I think depending on I think I probably have I think I paid him $5 for that song, which of course is probably pretty low considering. But I think for the most part, he gives it away for free. He's always happy to just have his music out there.
Yeah.
But
It says here he makes 2 brand new tracks every week.
that's
So
a
yeah.
lot of music, man.
So the edit, how long do you think the edit for the trailer took you in total?
I mean,
I know you did it over a certain
yeah,
amount of
there's a few different
days.
versions,
Yeah.
and I'll be honest, like editing is probably my least favorite processes of the whole thing. I just really like the images. I like taking
Mhm.
the shots, and
Right.
I think I mentioned it briefly before, but one of the reasons why I so I have these anamorphic lenses that I wanted to use, which is why there's kind of a very wide, kind of a wide aspect ratio.
Right.
Basically, an anamorphic lens kind of squeezes a wider image into a normal kind of square frame, and
Mhm.
then in post you have to kind of de-squeeze it. So in post, I have to stretch out the x-axis by 100 or 1.33%, so it kind of stretches it out. But some of the
Mhm.
cool things about it is if you see it in the trailer, like you have these really awesome like lens flares that like shoot
Mm.
like across the screen. Like every time I hit the headlights, you see like this big beam of like a lens flare just like shooting across like the frame. Like even like you can see it there when the kind of lighting, the tube lights go across. But especially like I think when we first showed the car, yeah, that first couple that shot when I kind of pan up and you see the head like that. Like anamorphic lenses have this really unique characteristic of creating these like streaks of like light whenever light hits it. It just looks really cool. It looks really, you know, cinematic, for lack of a better word.
That is so cool.
I really wanted to kind of utilize that. So I did utilize that a lot in some of the transitions, like, you know, moving into the light and then changing to another frame.
Yeah, that wasn't a post-production effect. That was actually...
No, this is all just in camera. This is all just in camera.
It's so cool. So cool. And you also use Final Cut Pro, which is what I use for my my YouTube videos.
Yeah. So I get going back to your question, how it's hard for me to
tell how long
it took me. I really I might have to estimate anywhere between 8 to 12 hours maybe. Wow. Because I mean, I look at it as there's the input in the footage, and then once I think I probably had the track in mind already, I think, 'cause I've always liked that track and I wanted to do something with it. I think, you know, because once I have all the footage, okay, now what do I do with it? Like, what kind of story am I going to build here? Like, what am I, you know, we're in a parking garage, we have driving shots outside at daytime, nighttime, like, what am I going to do with this? And so, you know, just going to try to build something where we kind of start in the day and it kind of gets dusk and then it's night at the end. And so it's just basically putting shots together. 'Cause I remember one of the first cuts we did, I had a shot of you at the charging station where I zoomed the camera, I pulled the camera out through the charging station. Because the charging stations have like a big, like they're like a big circle, like it's a hollow thing, right? And like a red light. And I kind of started like, you know, with my arm through the charging station, I pull the camera back and like it reveals the Tesla charging thing. Where I had some shots of you like charging it, like actually charging the car. There's a lot of stuff that just didn't really get used because I couldn't, like, in the time that I wanted to do it, I just couldn't fit every one of those shots in.
Yeah. And, you know, like I'm not a strictly Tesla only channel.
Right.
So, you know, it didn't need to have, you know, the Tesla branded supercharger as part of the trailer. It was fine.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing. Is like when I pull out, it's a cool shot, but it comes out, it's like boom, Tesla, and like bright glowing red,
right?
You know, and
sponsored
you're like,
by Tesla.
It's like it's not really like this EV in general is fine.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be like a big Tesla thing. So I think we took that shot out. But yeah, I'd say probably 8 to 10 hours ish, maybe.
Yeah.
Before I kind of settled on a cut. And usually these are things I just never in. I'm just like, I could tweak it for forever.
Right.
You know, I'm just like, I could, you know, but I do look at it now, usually after it's been like how long has this been? 6-8 months since I probably gave you the kind of final version. Usually after about 6 or so months, I can look back at it now and be like, okay, I'm happy with it. I think it's cool. There's always little things like I've probably done better. I want to add that shot in or whatever. But for the most part, I can look at it and be happy with it. But even when I sent you the final cut, I'm always like, could I change the colors a little bit? Could I speed this frame up or whatever?
Well, I'm happy with it. And
that's good. That's the most important thing.
I extremely appreciate all of your hard work and efforts. So yeah, really appreciate it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on my channel from now on. That'll be the first video you see when you visit the EVMJ Japan channel. So you'll always have
to promote it on my Instagram as well.
A special place in the channel. So let's wrap things up. New videos that are going up on the channel. So actually I tried something new recently, and something that actually Ben kind of interacted with. For the first time ever, I did well, they're called IRL live streams, you know, where
in real life.
In real life, yeah. So you're actually like filming, like, you know, one day of like everything that you're doing, kind of thing. And yeah, I've been following a few Japanese YouTubers doing that, and also like foreigners in Japan YouTubers that are doing that. And I just thought, like, wouldn't it be cool if we just did that from the car, like, and go for like a, you know, like a driving quest, but actually make it a in real life live stream. And that's what I did. I went to Shizuoka. I did 3 live streams over 2 days, and it was awesome. And at several points in the quest, Ben dropped in the live chat, which was cool. So yeah, that's the coolest thing about these live streams, is that you can actually just like interact with people as you're doing it. So it's kind of like getting YouTube comments in real time.
Mm.
So it's really, really, really fun, and I'm definitely looking to doing more of that. Actually,
Yeah,
Ben, you were saying the same thing, right? You wanted to do not IRL live
right,
streams,
but I I definitely do want to do some because like I mentioned in my YouTube channel, I teach like photo retouching, how to do portrait retouching, and so I think it would be kind of fun to do just like a live stream of me. I would I would be sharing my computer screen and basically have me retouching a photo, because then I could answer people's questions you know in real time. So they might ask me, hey, how'd you do that, or how do I do this thing, and I can kind of show it to them like on the stream. So I just got to figure out how to basically share my computer screen and then maybe have a camera of me down in the corner or something. So yeah, one day I'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you should. I think it'd be really interesting to watch. So so Ben, you have a website, and well, obviously you have an Instagram channel. You also have a website, right?
Yeah, so I do have a website, which is benergizer.com. So it's like Energizer, just with a B. So yeah,
Right.
benergizer.com. And then I've got a YouTube channel, which is BRG Photography, and then I have my Instagram. I'm still kind of in the process of trying to like unify everything under the same name, because as you make things, you might change your name a bit. But yeah, you can. And you scroll down on the page, and there's like a lot of photos, and there's a lot more video work on that page and stuff like that. So
yeah, this is Ben's YouTube channel. So yeah, this kind of stuff, like retouching photos,
right,
and how to use like editing software for these kind of things. Yeah,
right. And I do have some stuff like in the studio, where I'm in the studio with a model, and I'm kind of teaching some lighting things. So yeah, small but growing channel.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're interested in photography, you should absolutely check that out. So have you got, is there anything you're allowed to talk about, or is everything kind of secret at the moment? Is there any big things coming up you want to talk about or share? Or
not really. I mean, nothing too big. I mean, nothing that would be exciting. It's not like I'm working on some new big movie or anything. But no, just a little, things I want to work on. So some like personal projects. I just recorded another YouTube video yesterday, and this is for something that I actually haven't. I did look online, or look on YouTube, and not to make it sound like it's amazing or anything, but I haven't seen anybody do this yet. The next video I'm gonna have on my YouTube channel, I haven't seen anybody do exactly what I'm doing. So I'm kind of curious as how it gets received, what the reception is going to be like, because like I looked the best I could, and there might, because sometimes you do a search on YouTube for something, and a lot of the smaller channels just don't come up, or so there might be somebody out there doing something similar. But I think the video I have up, that'll be up next, maybe in a week, I don't think I've seen anybody else do a video like this. So I'm kind of interested to see how it gets received.
Wow, that's very elusive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So that will wrap it up for this episode of the EVMJ Japan podcast. Ben, thank you so much for joining me, man. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you for doing the awesome work on the trailer. And wish you all the best for your channel and all your photography and videography, everything.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right then, guys. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.